Any questions? Last time we met, which was 2 weeks ago, we did Adon Olam and the Shaberach, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Questions, comments? Anybody look at those videos I sent?
No.
No,
No?
I don't have time.
Okay.
I downloaded it.
I know, it's all good. Okay. So today we're going to cover Vishamru and Lachadodi, which is part of Friday night. And spoiler alert, Vishamru is also what we say before Kiddush on Saturday morning or afternoon, whenever you're done with services. So it'll serve a dual purpose, which is nice.
Great.
Okay, so where are my windows? I've got a lot of stuff open here. Okay. So let's start with Lechado. Let's start with Vishamru, actually. Now I'm thinking. And in Lev Shalem, it's on page 46. All right, it's this.
Is that as big as we can make it?
I'm making it bigger.
Okay.
Let me tell you that the Zoom thing, as soon as I go up to the top here, the Zoom thing comes up. So I have to wait for it to go, and then I have to round about my mouse to go back so it doesn't pop up again, all the Zoom stuff. And I know I can move it to the bottom, but I'm not learning that right now. So anyway, bigger?
Yes. No, it's good.
That's fine.
That's good for me.
This
That's
is good.
fine.
Okay, good. All right. So I'll read first, and I'll call on you guys to read. Judith, I know that you haven't been here in a while, so if you want to read, let me know. Otherwise, I'll skip you. Okay, first line is, and again, you see that they will do the Shva bigger where they want you to enunciate it, right? So it kind of makes it easy. We don't have to remember rules and stuff like that. We just kind of follow the big dots. Veshameru Vene Yisrael et HaShabbat. Jamie?
Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Good. La asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Marcy.
La'azot et HaShabbat ledoratam barit olam.
Beini uvein B'nei Yisrael ot hi leolam. Judy.
B'nai Uvan, B'nai Yisrael, Ot, He,
You were right.
yeah, Leolam.
Perfect. He sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Barbara.
He sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz.
Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash. Jamie.
Uvayim,
Yom.
Uvayom, right? Uvayom,
Mm-hmm.
Hashvi'i, Shavat, Vayi Nafash.
Perfect. All right. So Friday night, well, Saturday morning also, you'll hear it, 2 different tunes. So if the cantor or the person that's leading the Kiddush wants to do it quickly, right? And not have the kahal, the congregation participate, they'll say, Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam, beini uvein v'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz, uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash. And then they'll go down to the Kiddush part. But Friday night, and some congregations where everybody's participating in the song, it's a beautiful song. It's Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Back to the top. Veshamru, right?
Yeah,
And they'll do all the verses.
yeah,
So this is kind of the chorus, these first two lines, and then these three are each their own verses. So, I'll see if I can find a recording of that. If not, I'll record it and we'll go from there. All right.
There's a line under that says on festivals. What's the,
Vayidaber Moshe et Moadei Adonai el Bnei Yisrael. So that is, on Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. So, because remember, this Sidur is the Shabbat and Festivals Sidur.
what's so special about that line that they do it on festivals?
It's something to add to it. So your festival may not be on Shabbat. So Shavuot was on Shabbat. So you would say both the Shabbat and the festivals. But if you're doing Kiddush on a festival that's not on a Shabbat, like if it's a Tuesday, you're not going to sing Vishamru. You're just going to say this before you say Kiddush.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference. And a lot of times you'll see in the Bencher or in the Haggadah, where there will be prayers that are for Pesach or Shavuot or Sukkot, and in parentheses, there's some words in parentheses. And you only say those words in parentheses when that festival falls on Shabbat.
mhm.
So,
Lymor, what function does this prayer serve, like in the service?
so this Vishamru is what we say before we say Kiddush on Saturday morning. And I'm going to here and we say it in the synagogue Friday night as part of Ma'ariv. So, so I don't know what purpose it serves, but it's basically saying that we work for 6 days and rest on Shabbat. And
Okay.
this is why, right? So here's the English part of it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's go. So any other questions on Vishamru? Okay.
Just curious, like where the tune is from.
Oh, I have no idea.
I asked because, like I was watching Rough Diamonds. I don't know if anyone started that on Netflix.
No.
It's about like an ultra Orthodox community in Antwerp that's in the diamond business. But anyway, they show a scene in the synagogue, and it's like they're using the same melodies as my conservative shul in Virginia. So I'm always curious, like
Huh.
how recent or not recent a certain melody is. So
Right,
curious.
right. I was just listening to I listened to Unorthodox this week, and they were talking about the community and the Jewish community in New Orleans, and how during Jazz Fest they like write all new songs for Friday night prayers and stuff. It was very cool. And they did Adon Olam. They did the tune like Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, and they had like
Oh, that's
jazz,
fun.
the trumpets and all that. It was so cool. And I was actually listening to that part on the way to the doctor this morning, which is in town. And so I'm
That's
sitting in the parking lot, I'm like, well, I have to hear the rest of this. It's like- So, but anyway, okay, so let's go to page 23 now for Lecha Dodi. So Lecha Dodi, if we look at, let me pull up the service again. Now you get to see my matrix of files and all that stuff. Okay, let's see here. Here it is. Okay, so if you remember the Friday night service structure, it's all of our structures kind of build up and then peak. And sometimes they come down, sometimes they don't. So I feel like the Friday night, your peak is always your Amidah, right? The 19 blessings, right? That is the heart of your prayer. It's a time where you can talk to God all by yourself, even though you're part of a community and all of that. So Kabbalat Shabbat is welcoming the Shabbat. It's Psalms. It's a lot of songs. And it's probably one of the most beautiful services of our week, other than maybe Hallel, right? In my opinion, let me just preface it with that. Other people might have others, but Kabbalat Shabbat is so great. If you ever have a chance to go to your shul for Kabbalat Shabbat, try to get there, early, not just on time, so that you could hear everything, because it's so nice. And if you happen to have like a musician in residence coming for the weekend or something like that, definitely go Friday night. That's kind of I'm like, I'll go Friday night, and maybe I won't go Saturday morning. I'll go Friday night. And I find it fascinating that many times people don't go to services Friday night. Sometimes it's hard for them to get a minyan Friday night, because I think it's just such a beautiful service, and it's short. It's like 40 minutes and then 20 minutes for Mariv, and you're done. And it, depending on how the rabbi talks, is how much over an hour to an hour and 20 minutes you go. But
Our
anyway,
shul has a courtyard, and as soon as the weather breaks to, actually, this coming Friday's the first one, they switch to a Shabbat Rocks, and they have the cantor performs with a rock band. Before the service, our shul, for some reason, does not use any kind of music accompaniment in the actual service. I don't know why that got started, but anyway, but before then they'll do a whole bunch. We have a different book, and they get a huge crowd for that, but mostly on Friday nights, not so many.
so I see you, Barbara. So our shul will do once a month in the summer, they'll do a band. And because technically between Kabbalat Shabbat and Mariv, let me go back here. Between Kabbalat Shabbat and Mariv, that's when Shabbat actually starts. They will do Kabbalat Shabbat with the instruments, with everything. Then they'll put them all away while everybody goes and lights candles. They'll make a big deal of that, and then come back to Mariv with no instruments. So, Barbara.
On June 16th, our conservative shul is having a klezmer Shabbat. So we're having dinner first, and then the Kabbalat Shabbat and the klezmer band playing. And so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then do they play during your service, or do they actually put it away for your
I
service?
think they put it away for the service, but I don't know. We'll find out.
Which shul is that?
It's Addis Israel in DC.
Mhm.
Do you know?
This time of year, until June 21st, right, which is the longest day of the year.
Yeah.
Shabbat starts later and later and later, and then
Yeah.
once you hit June, it goes earlier and earlier and earlier, but only by 2-3 minutes. So you can really, like, Elon and I are going golfing this afternoon. We have a 5:30 tea time.
Right.
Like, we're going to golf, we're going to shower. I'm only playing 9 holes, but we're going to shower, and then we're going to go to my mom's for dinner. Like, you can really get it all in. It's nice. So, and then, it's nice in the winter when you can actually go out on a Saturday night or out to dinner or whatever. So, flip-flops depending on the season. So, okay. So this is the last prayer Friday night before, it's actually not the last psalm. There's one more psalm after this. But I think this is the most well-known psalm. So that's why I wanted to tackle it first. And I think that, let me take a quick look here on my schedule here. And then, right, and then we're gonna see my lesson plans class to pick a few psalms from Friday night. That was your homework. But if you don't pick them, I'll pick them and we'll just go through them. Because I think the Friday night psalms are so pretty. And then the intermediate class next semester is going to be Shabbat morning services. So anything you want to know about Friday night, let's get it out in the next couple weeks. Obviously, if you have questions, we can always tackle them whenever. And we'll go from there. Okay. All right, so I'll read first and then I'll call on you to read. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabla. Judith.
Lecha dodi likra kala penei Shabbat v'habala.
Right? Neka.
Nekabala.
Kabbalah. Yep. Okay.
Thank
No problem. Oh, one other thing. Do you see how the first letter of each verse is bolded? Right?
Yep.
It spells out Shin Lamed Shin Lamed Mem Hey. Oh, we have to continue on the next page. Hey. Then again, hey, mem. Where's my mem? Lamed. Keep going. Vav, Yud, and Bet. For some reason, I thought it spelled out Shlomo HaMelech, which is the person, which is Shlomo is Solomon, the king, King Solomon, because he's the one that wrote this. So that is where it is. Oh, Shlomo HaLevi.
Yeah.
Sorry. There you go. That's what it is. I knew it was Shlomo. I got some of it right. Okay. All right. So let's start. Shamor v'zachor bedibur echad. Barbara.
Shemor as or
Ve'zachor.
Vezachor. The vor echad.
Perfect. Hish mi anu el ham yu chad. Marcy.
Ishmianu el Hamuchad.
Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. Jamie.
Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Leshem uletif eret ve'lit hi la. Judith.
I'm sorry, I tuned out. What line are we on?
Right here. Leshem
L'shem
utiferet ve'lit hi la. It's a difficult one, so I wanted to do it again for you.
Thank you. L'shem, it's an M, right?
Uh-huh.
L'shem ulti farat veli tahila.
Right. So this is lit fi letif eret. Ultif eret.
Ultif eret.
Yep. Don't forget to pause there. Okay. Next verse, I'm gonna
Yeah.
roll up a little bit here. Likrat Shabbat lechu ve'nelcha, Barbara.
Lifrat Shabbat Levat Levu Levu
Lechu,
Lehu Anil
the
then Neil then new Lehu
the
Leva.
nelcha.
Let me try that again.
Okay,
That word, that last word,
yep,
that nel va
cha.
ha. Why do I think that's a va?
I don't know. Here's the bet.
Yeah,
Here's the chaf.
ha.
This
Yeah.
has a little tail on it. This one's,
Right. Okay, va
backward C.
va.
Okay,
Got it. Okay.
all right. He mekor ha-bracha. Marcy.
He mikor habracha.
Abraha.
Merosh mikedem nesucha, Judy.
Merosh. Nekra. Wait. It's Nika Ram.
Kedem.
Oh, it's a ka.
Uh-huh.
Nekadem Basoka.
Nesucha,
Nesuka.
right? This is
Yeah.
this is the
Nesuka.
bet, and this is the nun. Just a little shorter.
Yeah, Nesuka.
Sof ma'aseh be'machashava techila, Jamie.
Sof ma'aseh b'macha shava tehila. Tehila.
Okay, next verse. Mikdash melech ir melucha, Judith.
Mikdash, Melech, Year, Melcha.
Kumi se'i mitoch ha-hafecha.
Ooh.
Barbara.
He do me see
It's ku.
kumi
Perfect.
kumi see me toch ha ko ba
Ha
ha
fe
they
ha.
ha they ha.
Okay, let me go back to this just because it's a little, you said C, which is fine, but it's se e, right?
Say
Shva under, right? Se e. I
say
want to make that distinction for everyone. It's a hard one. Okay. Rav
What's the word after that? Is that mitoch?
mitoch.
So that's a chaf sofit.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, the face of feet has a little a
Right.
tusk or something,
Mitoch.
after it.
me toch.
So this is a chaf, mitoch. Rav lach shevet be'emek ha-ba-ha, Marcy.
Rav lech shevet be'emet. Is that's a kaf, Sophie?
That's a kuf,
Kuf.
be'emek,
So it was a cat. It was the right sound, just the wrong letter. Okay.
correct.
Be'emek ha-ba-ha.
Perfect. Vehu yachamol alayich chamla, Judy.
Vehu ya'amo ala ich hamla.
Chamla, yes.
Hamla.
All right, I'm gonna scroll now, so close your eyes if that makes you dizzy. All right. Hit na'ari me afar kumi, Jamie.
Heat na'ari me afar kumi.
Leave she big day tif ar teich ami, Barbara.
Would you do that line again?
Yeah. Leave she big day tif ar teich ami.
Leaf, she, big day, teeth are retech me.
Perfect. Al yad ben yishai beit halachmi, Marcy.
Al Yad Ben Yitshai Beit Halachami. Halachami.
Halachmi.
Halachmi.
Okay. This is a kamatz katan. Korva el nafshi ge'ala. It's Judy.
Okay, do that one more time.
Korva el nafshi ge'ala.
Okay. Korba el nefesh.
Naf. She.
So is that a G sound?
Nope. Naf, like NAF. Naf.
Oh, not
She.
she. Ga'ala.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to scroll again. Heat oreri. Heat oreri, Jamie.
Heat oreri. Heat oreri.
Ki va orech kumi ori, Barbara.
He ba orech korumi kumi
Yes.
ore.
There you go. Uri, sheer, daberi, Judith.
Uri, Uri, Sheer, Daberi.
Kevod, Adonai, alayich, nigla, Marcy.
Kavod Adonai Alayik Nigla.
Perfect. Lo tevoshi velo tikal me. Judy.
Lo. If she.
Te vo she.
Okay.
See, they're giving you
Oh,
two
okay.
dots up here, one for the O and one for the sh.
Okay. Tavoshi. Below. Tikal me.
Perfect. Ma tishto chachi u ma me, Jamie.
Ma tishtochache chi chachi
Yes,
uma tehemi.
perfect. Bach yechesu ani ye ami, Judith.
Sorry. Ban, Yehemu,
Su, Bach yechesu.
Yehesu.
Okay,
Ani, Ami.
okay.
Can you say that one more time?
Yep. Bach yechesu ani ye ami. Veniv neta ir al ti la. Barbara,
The ni ban ta ir al tila.
okay. I'm gonna scroll again. Whoops. Okay. Vehayu lim shi sa sho sayich. It's like a tongue twister, Marcy. I'm sorry.
Vahayu lim shisa sho sayich.
Yes, good. Verachaku kol mevalayich. Judy.
Erahaku kol niva la yach
Mich.
li.
Yep.
The
Me-
last one,
Yep.
Me-
Mevalayich.
Neva alik.
Okay. Yasis alayich Elohayich. Jamie.
Yasis alayich Elohayich.
Okay, good. Kim sos chatan al kala, Judith.
Kim sos hatan al bala.
Kala.
Kala.
These are two words that you might know. Chatan and kala. Groom and bride.
Oh, kala, sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, I missed it.
exactly.
Okay. Yes. of course.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Yamin usmol tif rotsi, Barbara.
Yamin
Uh-huh.
mo
Perfect.
tif ratsi.
Perfect. Ve'et Adonai ta'aritzi, Marcy.
Ve'et Adonai ta'aritzi.
Al yad ish ben partzi, Judy.
Al yid
Yad.
al yad ish ban feratzi.
Ben partzi.
Ben artsy. Well, what's the
There's
the
a little dash.
yeah, what's after the dash? What letter?
P. P.
Okay, oh, pa. Okay,
Partsy.
hey, right.
Without the dot inside, like
The
it's
F,
on top
right?
here, it's teeth,
It's
rotsy. And here it's partsy,
okay,
right? It's P with the dot, F without the dot.
okay.
Ve'nismecha ve'nagila, Jamie.
Benis mecha. Benagila.
Okay. Bo'i ve'shalom ateret ba'ala, Judith.
Bo'i v'shalom atarat bala.
Gam besimcha uv sohola. See these two come out katan next to each other. So it's uv sohola, Barbara.
So, goat, that's a gom. Gum,
Mm-hmm.
basim, ho, ta,
Ha.
basim, ha,
Huh?
oh God, the sahala.
You got it. Uv sohola. It's a hard one. Toch emune am segula, Marcy.
Toch emune segula.
Bo'i chala, Judy.
Ohim kala, ohim kala.
There you go. So this is another one, not as many tunes as, let's say, Adonolam, but there's always a lot of tunes to this one too, right? And again, it's rhyming, right? I don't know if you can tell, like in the first two verses, your first and your third rhyme. Your first and your third rhyme. Actually, I think the first, second, and third rhyme. I think that's how it goes. So Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmiyanu el hameyuchad Adonai echad uhu shemo echad l'shem ultiferet v'helitila. Right? So the first three rhyme in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to see if that's true. That is true throughout. Me, right? Me. So that rhymes. Re. Me. So the first three lines are always rhyming. And that's what lends itself, and because it's a 4-line, whenever it's a 2 or a 4-line, it lends itself to lots of tunes that I'm not a music, I'm like a musical person, but I don't know music theory. But that's, in music theory, you would know 4 beats, 8 beats, whatever beats, all of that. But whatever it is, when you have a 4-line poem like this, it lends itself to a lot of different mainstream songs or other songs that help the tune along. So one other note I'll say, and I'm going to scroll to the end of this prayer. This is the end. So when you're in your morning period, where is it? Here we go. When you're in your morning period, the first 7 days during Shiva, you're not supposed to be part of Kabbalat Shabbat because it's all songs, right? It's uplifting. I told you, it's one of the most beautiful services. I love to sing along. So when you are sitting Shiva, you actually sit outside the room while they're singing Kabbalat Shabbat, And right after Kabbalat Shabbat, they come into the room and you say this, Hamakom Yinachem Etchem Betoch She'ar Avelei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. And you actually say this also when you leave somebody at a Shiva house, they always have it kind of hanging behind them, what to say. And it basically says, may the divine comfort you along with all other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Meaning, may God comfort you as well as all the Jews, right? And then there's another, Mina Shamayim Tin Chamu, which is, may you find comfort from heaven. And the other thing that's sometimes said is that you should have no more sorrow, right? Like this should be all the sorrow you have. So I wanted to just show you that because that's when you would say this as the mourners walked into the room, which I always found like, you know, if you're in mourning, the last thing you want to do is be greeted by everybody as you walk into the room, but but that's our tradition, to, you know, feel the comfort. So questions.
I have a question on my gosh, the prayer for when people are sitting Shiva, that's included in the service. And I'm just curious, typically, this is probably just convention based on synagogues even, but if you're not in mourning, do you still say the prayer?
When you're at a Shiva house, some people, since you're at their house, you will say the mourner's prayer, but sometimes you won't. Like sometimes the mourners get very upset if other people are saying it with them because it's their prayer to say. So it really is like I kind of like start mumbling it. If I see other people are saying it, then I'll say it because I want to be there for them. But if I see that only the mourners are saying it, then I kind of, you know, don't say it so that they don't get offended. And you really don't know unless you go into the Shiva house. If you don't say it, it's not a bad thing. You know, it's kind of like Yizkor used to be that if you didn't have someone to mourn for, like mother, father, brother, sister, son, daughter, wife, husband, you left the room. And now it's becoming more commonplace for everybody to stay in and that sort of thing. So, you know, the traditions are changing a little bit. And I think, you know, I have a friend who lost her father when she was 10 years old. And so here we are, we're like, okay, we're out of here, you know, and she had to stay. And she was like, it's so boring. And it's so, you know, like whatever, without having my friends in there, whatever. And, you know, then everybody else would go outside and it would be like, you know, this mass exodus to go outside and take a breather, you know, and that sort of thing. And I think that people saw that as more of a hurtful thing to those that were in to say the prayer. They're like, oh, everybody gets a break from praying except for us because, you know, my mom died, or, you know what I mean? So I think that we've changed that a little bit. So Barbara?
I have two things to say. One is that we went to more services, funeral services during the pandemic over Zoom than we did in the 2 years prior to the pandemic, and that they were all in the home and they were extremely meaningful and intimate, obviously. And we were all encouraged at every one of them to say the mourner's prayer. And because we were invited to that service via Zoom. And if you didn't have the Zoom link, you couldn't participate.
Right.
And that was very interesting. And the other thing is that my husband hates services of every kind. And he goes to all the high holiday services and he stays for Yizkor. He comes back for Yizkor because that's the most meaningful service to him of all. And he has, for many years, he had no reason to go, but on a personal level. But he just loves it.
My mother only goes for Yizkor.
Yeah. This is fascinating.
She doesn't like services, but she feels an obligation because her parents are gone. And this is her, her thing. So, everybody does what's comfortable for them, which is good. So what was I going to say about the Zoom services? It's funny, I think that we are more inclusive now that we have Zoom, right? And we can participate in any service. We can go, my mother likes to go on and watch the Fifth Avenue Synagogue,
Yeah, I do too.
their service. And what's her name? Andrea Buchdal's service. She's a Reform rabbi. She's the first
Central Synagogue.
Central Synagogue. Thank you. My mom loves it. And my mom thinks her sermons, her sermons are amazing. My mother just really loves her. And her comment to me, my mom will be 74 next month. She's like, I never thought a woman rabbi, because that's how she grew up, right? I never thought a woman rabbi could really say things that would touch my heart so much. And I'm like, of course, because she's a woman and she has very similar experiences to you, who is also a woman. And my mother's like, yes, but she's so learned, My mother, who has a master's degree, by the way, she's very learned too. But I just said, perception is just so funny. But and the same thing, like when we, and this is how I got more involved in Women's League and sisterhood and all of that, is that when my father died right before the pandemic, right before the shutdown, and we got up from Shiva on a Thursday, and Friday the whole world was shut down. And we did, in my community, we did backyard minions. We had enough, we lived close enough that we're able to, do these backyard minions, which were very good. And then all the other minions during the week, not on Shabbat, were on Zoom. And I didn't like them. It wasn't for me. I didn't feel saying Kaddish in that environment. I didn't enjoy it. So a friend of mine told me that Women's League has a noon service where they're reading the Psalm of the day and saying Kaddish for anybody who needs to say Kaddish. I was like, okay, well, at least that's not a whole service. I'll do that. Like if I'm uncomfortable for 15 minutes, fine. And it ended up that it wasn't the Zoom factor. It was the people on the Zoom that I was not interested in, the regulars that came to Minyan and wanted to daven and wanted to get out of there. I was more interested in doing this, which was women talking to each other. How was your day? What's going on? That sort of thing. And becoming a community, kind of like we have in the classroom here. And then saying the Psalm of the day, Mishaberach, and, and that. And I did that every day, except for Saturday when I went to the backyard minyan for the entire year the entire 11 months that I said Kaddish for my dad. And that was so fulfilling. And then after the pandemic started to ease, we only do it now. We still do it Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because those are not Torah days. And you tend to get a minyan on Torah days at shul than you don't. So that's kind of how we settled on the 3 days a week. But yeah, so it can be done. It depends on the other people. It depends on the environment that's created, because even though these boxes look the same, no matter what, the facilitators of the minyan or the class or whatever, it's all very different in the participation. If I just sat here and talked and nobody participated, it would not be fun for anybody. So yeah.
It's interesting, during the pandemic, my synagogue did a lot more Zoom. Now they're into live stream, and live stream just doesn't do it for me.
Well, guess what? My
we do
synagogue
both.
decided that even live stream is too non-halachic for them. And so we have nothing, there's nothing on Shabbat.
And we do both. We do in person and we do Zoom and we do live stream. Our clergy's feeling is that, there are people who cannot participate any other way. As a matter of fact, our sisterhood, it was just finished. We have one room in our synagogue. It's not the largest, room to gather. That's not a sanctuary, but it's the second largest. And they've made it into a high-tech room. It cost tens of thousands of dollars. The sisterhood funded it. There's a big screen that can come out of the ceiling, so there's meetings now there. There are microphones in the ceiling that can be directionalized so that you don't hear the people talking under you, only hear the speaker. It's amazing. And they're doing a lot of their meetings now and social things and everything so that other people out of town and stuff can still participate.
Yeah, that's nice.
Calling it the Zoom room.
Zoom room.
And they put a big sisterhood plaque up because we funded it up. And there was controversy. We're a conservative synagogue and we tend to be conservadox, I guess, for lack of a better word. And there was controversy about it. Some people were not happy, and our clergy's all gone through a change and they're all younger now. And but I think it's the wave of the future, if it gets people, my friends, most of them don't even belong to a synagogue because they just don't want to go there and participate. And if it gets more people, I guess I'm not against it, but it's fine. And I wanted to say what you said about Yizkor before. In our shul, a lot of the traditionalists, especially on like Yom Kippur or whatever, they will get up and leave. But our rabbis may have made it a point to say it's everyone's choice, but there is always someone you can say Yizkor for, even if it's your ancestors from the Holocaust.
Yeah, I noticed in the prayer, at least in our prayer book, and I don't know what it's called, I have to double check, but there were options like the prayers for martyrs and other kind of more general prayers, one could say.
Yeah, the Lev Shalom, I think, has that too in there, but
Yeah.
Right.
but
All right, well, have a good week. Like I
You
said, if I
too.
don't hear from you, then I'm gonna start to just pick some Psalms. And we'll study them and we'll enjoy them. And I think I have our classes going through June 23rd. I have to see June 16th, I'm taking a flight out to California. So I need to look at my flight and see if I'm free. If I'm free at that time and not on a plane, I'll do it. If not, then let me see.
Don't stress over it.
yeah, don't stress over
Don't
it.
stress over it.
Especially in summer, it's getting a little like you say, what do you mean you're not coming to the pool
Right,
until
I
3
know.
o'clock?
Oh,
And
so
the next
9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. So my flight lands at 12:30. So maybe
12:30, in what time zone?
12:30 this time zone, 9:30 a.m. their time zone. So 12:30 this time, Eastern time zone.
Isn't that going to be too rushed for you? What if you're delayed, or what?
I
if
don't
you-
know.
if
Maybe
you
we'll
don't get
maybe
the order?
we'll cancel it and then we'll just go. We'll see. Maybe we'll cancel it.
Can I ask, I don't know, do you know about the scheduling for the next semester? Is it going to be in the same time slot?
I don't know why. What time slot do you want?
I like this one.
It's tough for me to make Friday afternoons, as you probably noticed from my absence, but that's,
I used to teach a Sunday night class.
Oh, that's
Great. And a lot of people liked it. And then when it came to sign up for the next class,
Yeah.
nobody signed up.
I do
I
that.
guess
That's
like,
not true. I had 3 people signed up for intermediate this semester and this advanced beginner on Friday. And, but we had like 4 intermediate classes that each had a few people in them. And so we said, well, let's try to combine the classes. And there were more people that preferred the Thursday, Friday time slots than the Sunday time slot. So, yeah. So if I can encourage them to do a Sunday night time slot, then, maybe there'll be an intermediate class for Sunday night.
or even like for me, the like morning would be easier, just because
Gotcha.
everything's ramping up in the afternoon and trying to close out the
I
day.
can't do the morning because I work from home on Fridays. And so it's easier for me to just get all my work done, all my work meetings done, and then do this. And then if I have to go back and do work, fine. If not, then I'm done for the day.
Got it.
No, I even prefer later in the afternoon, but this was really when we started this in the fall,
Right.
the Shabbat starts at like 4 o'clock in December, and I didn't want to be like doing it at 2:30 and rushing to 3:30. That was just not going to work. So I said, okay, 1:30 is probably good, because if I have to run to the supermarket at 2:30 and whatever, then by 4 o'clock, I'm fine. So that was kind of my parameter. So, but anyway,
Judy,
I
I
like
know
this.
that there's other classes, they have other times. Have you looked at that? Because
yes,
I
I
listened to some of the other classes.
There is
and
a
I don't
10
know
a.m.
interesting things about them.
Right, there is a 10 a.m. slot Thursday and Friday. So if those work better for you when the class schedule comes out, don't feel like you have to be with me. Get the best time slot for yourself.
Well,
Well,
when I signed up, I couldn't tell who was teaching.
Mm,
Right. So what usually happens, again, now, let's also remember one more thing. The person that was coordinating these classes, who was the chair of the education committee, her name is Julia Loeb. She was also president of the Seaboard region.
Right.
She is going to become the international president
Oh, okay.
in July.
Okay.
So she's giving up the education piece. I don't know who's taking it over. I'll ask her though. But the way Julia ran it was that she would say to the teachers, send out this link if they want to continue in your class, and you would sign up under me and you'd automatically be assigned to the same time. Then they would send out the entire schedule to everybody else who hadn't signed up. So if this time doesn't work for you, if we do it that way, Judith, if this time doesn't work for you, I'll ask what are the other intermediate time slots, and we'll get you registered for that time slot so that because what they wanted was all the returning students to have a slot. They didn't want you to get cut out by somebody who's signing up, that maybe took advanced 2 years ago and wants to take intermediate now, and you get locked out because there's not enough. So they always wanted to make sure that the people that finished the class immediately were afforded an opportunity and a slot. And it's funny, when I was moving somebody from my intermediate class to another class, the woman that I called her and I said, hey, this is the student, this is how she learns, this is this, whatever. She's like, oh yeah, she took my beginner class like 5 years ago. She's taken every class twice because it was very difficult for her, and it, took her time, and, she didn't have enough time to practice and things like that. So she took beginner twice, advanced twice, and she was going to take intermediate for the first time, but it had been a while since she had been in the very first class with the same teacher. So that was kind of.
I had been with a different teacher last semester, and then all of a
Right.
sudden I found myself with you, which is fine. I just,
with Carol Greenberg.
yeah.
So, right. So she taught, so we had the same thing with advanced and with beginner, is that we needed another beginner teacher. And so Carol said, well, I only have so many people signed up for my class. Would you take the students in my class? I said, yes. I
Okay.
didn't know that you guys hadn't reviewed a couple of things that we had reviewed. And so we were kind of backtracking and whatever. And she was going to do one last class with you guys.
Right.
And then it didn't work out.
Right.
But she was going to try to transition over to my class. We try as best we can.
It's fine. It's fine. It
so
just was a surprise.
out.
I didn't have any say in it. I was just, hello. Sorry to be,
It worked out, Barbara.
yes, it did.
You feel like you're part of our family, don't you?
Yes, I do. Thank
Okay.
you.
It's a good family.
Yes, it is a
My
good thing.
family.
Okay.
All right, ladies, I am off to the pool.
Okay.
Have
Bye.
a great weekend.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
See you in maybe 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.